afternoon. On behalf of the Ministry of Trade of the Republic of Turkey, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all to today's webinar. First of all, I would like to extend our sincere appreciation to Nisha and Katherine from About You Marketplace for joining us today. We are delighted to have the opportunity to benefit from their first-hand insights and experience. Today's webinar forms a part of our preparations for the second Istanbul Global E-Export Summit, IGEXX 2026, which will be held in Istanbul from 3 to 5 September 2026 under the auspices of our ministry. IGEXX 2026 will bring together leading global and regional marketplaces, retailers, logistics and payment service providers, technology companies, industry experts, and Turkish exporters. Through its conference program and B2B meetings, the summit aims to foster new partnerships and provide Turkish companies with direct access to key actors in the global e-commerce ecosystem. Today's webinar offers Turkish companies an opportunity to learn more about You marketplace ecosystem, the European fashion and lifestyle market, and the pathways available to brands seeking to expand across Europe while preparing for potential B2B meetings and the future cooperation at IGEXX 2026. Before handing over the floor, I would like to briefly explain the format of today's webinar. Following Katherine's and Nisha's presentation, we will hold a question Q&A session. Participants may submit their questions through chat, and we will address as many of them as possible during the session. I hope today's webinar will be informative and productive, and that it will serve as the beginning of new lasting cooperation opportunities between About You and Turkish companies. So thank you once again for joining us, and it is my pleasure to give the floor to About You representatives. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Thanks for the kind introduction. And also thank you for having us. It's a great pleasure for us to present our marketplace to all of you. So thanks for attending. Very much looking forward to also see, hopefully, a lot of you in person on the IGEXX event. So first of all, who are we and why are we presenting this to you here? My name is Katherine. I will further down the presentation hand over to my colleague Niltje. We are both from the, how we call it, partner sales team. So basically our role and task is to find and convince partners selling fashion assortment to sell on the About You marketplace. And obviously we are super interested in your assortments. We also have first great experiences with sellers from Turkey. And we will take the time today to first walk you through why we think you should onboard on the About You marketplace, and then also further down the line, high level explain how it would work. So let's start. So why marketplaces are important. So obviously I work for marketplaces, means I'm a big fan of that operation model. But there are very good reasons for partners to onboard on marketplaces. And they become more important basically year by year. Generally, I would say everyone would agree if I say the e-commerce landscape and how customers shop and make their purchase decisions has significantly changed over the last years. That has outside factors, but also factors that are coming from the customer themselves. So they have way more transparency on what is available. Basically, they are confronted with a new trend and a new aesthetic to shop every day. They have so much more insights and inspiration in everything that you can purchase compared to, I would say, 15 years ago, when everyone had their favorite department store and their favorite online shop. And when they are seeking for something new, they just looked what is available there. So that was relatively easy then to sell your assortment. And in the situation that we're currently in, it has become more complex. That also brings big advantages, right? So you can also find a lot of new customers here. So basically, we are in a very volatile situation here in the current e-commerce market. And this is why. So first of all, customer demographics have shifted. So the income strong generations are now the millennials, as I am, and the Generation Z, which are a little bit harder to get as customers. So we are a little bit lacking loyalty, and then customers are seeking for the best deals and bargains. They are driven by convenience here. So they don't want to buy one product in one online shop and have a different checkout system than for another product in one online shop. They want to have a broad assortment. They want to have all options, but also they want to have it convenient and easy to live with, because life is already complicated enough, right? And then also we now have competitors in our market that we don't really know, that we cannot really predict, speaking of the Sheins and Temus here, and that are really putting pressure on established e-commerce players within the European Union. We personally think that this is a great opportunity to level up, but you really need to be fast and understand your customer behavior in order to keep up with them here. And if you are a smaller company who is also in charge of production, who also needs to be excellent in the products that they create and produce, it is even more difficult to also figure out on the sales channels and keep up with the selling trends that are possible here. And this is why marketplaces are so important these days, to find access to those customers. First of all, one reason why you should be live on marketplaces is obviously we have a decent revenue potential. So we will generate 2.5 billion of net revenue closing this year. So we are a very well established marketplace in the European Union, already having done all of the work acquiring the customers, making our brand and our services very prominent to the market. So if you are in Germany thinking of a new item to buy, most likely About You is your first or second choice to look for. So if you're not present with your assortment on the first and second choice, the chances that you are going to be the one selling an item to a German or further European customer is relatively little. And then we are also always trying to acquire new customer sequence. I previously mentioned the generation that being relatively difficult to acquire as customers, giving all of the influences that they have in terms of inspiration. And we found a very good angle. That is our private label and co-creation. So basically, we launch selections with influencers or content creators all over Europe. So they have their own collections co-designed with About You. This brings customers that are exclusively coming for those contents and styles. And then once they are there, they look around and they like what they see. They like the service. They like the payment methods. They like the other assortment. And then they buy another item. So they buy the t-shirt from that influencer that they admire. But then they also buy the Adidas sneakers, because why not putting that in the same basket and receiving it in the same parcel? And then they like the customer experience. Delivery was fast. Payment was super easy. Everyone was friendly. So let's buy again. And then we have them as our existing customers. So Tarek, one of our CEOs, always compares it with Netflix. So basically our co-creations are the Netflix originals, where the people have the subscription. But when they are there, why not also watching Friends, meaning buying other assortment? This is why we open up new customer segments that would not be available for other sellers, because they don't have that entry point here. And then we are actually live in 26 European countries. So with one marketplace, you will already reach a big bunch of people, of audience, different age groups, different genders, completely different shopping behaviors, and a lot of potential for you to make your brand or your assortment known and popular in this specific market. I need to take a breath, and I'm going to change the slide. Okay. So we are back again. Thanks for staying here. So hopefully now you understood the advantages of being live on a marketplace. But usually in live, things that sound super good, I also have some complexity, right? So I'm now going to walk you through some general complexities in dealing with European marketplaces. And then further down the line, we are going to explain how we tackle them to make it the most easy and most sufficient important for our partners. So things that we identified in by now 11 years in business and having more than 1,500 sellers in our third-party systems. So you know that we talked a lot with the partners to understand what might hold them back to onboard on marketplaces and what is different, what is difficulties on their end. We defined those 3 potential blockers that partners might have to onboard on the marketplace, despite them seeing the revenue potential and wanting to deliver to our customers. The first one, and we will double click on everyone that I'm going to mention here now, is steering complexity, then logistics and operation, and local specificities. And let's have a look in the steering complexity first. So basically, the more platforms you sell in, the more difficult it is to maintain stock for all of the platforms, to make sure that you are not selling items that already went out of stock, being sold to another shop or to your retail, while you were not looking at the stocks here. So it can be quite complex and difficult to maintain a suitable stock and have your top sellers with good availabilities present for all marketplaces that you want to be in. And you also don't want to harm your own D2C business and your own wholesale connections that you might have here. So basically what we do have in order to mitigate this risk is that we have a system where you can integrate your warehouse directly and also apply a security stock. So basically say, okay, I generally have 10 items left, but I know that those sell out so fast that I don't want this marketplace to show those available stock anymore, because I think in the time a customer puts it to the basket and wants to check out, it is already sold out from another source. So good for you that your assortment is selling so well, and no worries, you can implement a safety stock as high as you want to. And then I mentioned already we have 26 European countries, and one-fits-all solution usually is not a good one for all different customers here. One thing that is specifically complicated is maintain attractive pricing for all countries, also participating in sales campaigns that are important for those specific countries. And then also, as we are from the European Union, we also have a lot of regulations coming together with the topic of pricing. So our seller center, the tool that you can use for onboarding and for your live steering, makes sure to make it as easy as for you, like having templates with very clear guardrails to make sure that you are not accidentally harming any compliance in terms of prices, and that you can also steer the prices very specific on country level so that you can ensure that you make the most profit out of the market here. And then in order to be able to do that, you obviously need very good data. So we have all of the reports available in that seller center. You have a good dashboard where you can see the orders, you can see your top selling countries, you can see your top selling products, you can see the orders, the customers that are your best customers. So all of the insights are available that you can then also integrate in your systems and learn from that. Then the second risk that we identified is logistics and operations. Obviously a big one, right? So again, we are live in 26 countries, and all of these 26 countries are different from a customs perspective, from an import perspective, and that can be generally really intimidating to make sure that you are applying all cross-border requirements. Then we all know, unfortunately, Europeans are a little bit high in returning products. So in order to get all of the products back to your warehouse, your margin that you are planning to gain from that marketplace can completely be eaten up. So you might have concerns also about your profitabilities. Then also marketplaces, they are first place there to deliver to a customer, right? So the customer experience is the most important thing for them. And a good customer experience is one-to-one linked to a fast delivery. So the customers by now are very much used to receiving their parcel within 24 or 48 hours. And if they have to wait longer, they already get impatient because they want to have the product. This is why usually the marketplace have super strict service level agreements when an item needs to be shipped, and delivered and returned. So that can be relatively complex to review for partners. Then also a marketplace onboarding includes a significant tech integration, because we need to have your data at one point to sell the products that you offer. That can be quite of a hassle and can be also connected to a lot of requirements that a marketplace would have, especially, I don't know, integrating partners that you would need to use, that they have a connection with that. So it can happen that the effort in onboarding is already relatively high here. And then also, I mentioned already those regulations when it comes to pricing, but also European Union has other fun regulations. What product needs to be displayed, who the manufacturer of that product is, all of that legal regulations that are also different country by country and might be difficult for you to have an eye on. So that is all things that might make onboarding to a marketplace a little bit intimidating for you, I guess. So, and now we are coming from that general marketplace perspective to how we mitigate those fears or risk that you might have. I already highlighted the Seller Center, which is a tool that we implemented to make sure, firstly for our customer and then also for our partners, that all regulations are matched and that everything that you sell is absolutely sellable and the product data is correct as it is. I give an example here. So we do have very strict regulations when a product can be flagged as a deducted product. That was implemented during the last 1 to 2 years, depending on the country. And even sellers within the European Union struggle with this rule. So there's basically that you need to display the best price within the last 30 days. And then based on that, the decision is made whether this really is a sale price or not. Super, super complex. Took us also a while to figure out how we are the best do it. And now that we figured out, this is something that we also offer to our partners. So basically, our tooling directly only allows you to set the prices based on these rules. So this is really something that you do not need to care about here. Then we already figured out what SLAs, so delivery times, but also carriers or payment methods we need for the customers, being in business for now 12 years, in order to have a good customer experience. So basically, if you just follow the rules that we clearly set, the customer will have a good experience and most likely return to buying one of your products. Then tax, a topic that no one understands and no one really wants to deal with. And luckily, we take care of that. So basically, we ask very specific questions and have very, very specific import templates that only allow you to submit data that is already approved from our end for legal and tax reasons. So there is no knowledge needed in German tax. I think that is the most complex thing that you can learn. You can just rely on what we build here and you will be safe. And then also mentioning again that we are live in 26 countries. Unfortunately, not all of those countries are paying in euro, but we have different currencies here. So that can also add significant complexity for partners. But the good thing is we will collect all customer payments for you and only pay you out in euro. So you do not need to deal with currency conversion or also the calculation behind that, how this can impact the profit and how fast you need to react to currency changes. And now my slide is not, oh, I was just too fast. And then the last potential barrier that we identified is local specificities, and obviously a super important one, right? So 26 countries we are live in, and safe to say that me from Hamburg in Germany, my customer behavior has very little to do with someone living in Greece or in Portugal. But I can tell you from our experience, you also want to attract the customer from Portugal or from Greece because it is very strong selling markets on our end. The slide is not sliding. Yeah, here we are. So things that can lead to a very different customer landscape here. We have different climates, so we also sell in Finland, but we, as mentioned, also sell in Greece. So the seasons and the product groups being popular there are completely different. Every country has a local carrier that is the most present and that delivers the best customer experience. So it is super, super difficult to find one carrier that delivers to all of them. Then some countries are members of the European Union, some are not. So you need to have import and taxes and customs. That is super, super complicated to deal with. Also, basically, every country has its own VAT rate and related reporting of the VAT remission. That is also, again, something that you need to implement for marketplaces. We have different payment methods that are popular. So for Germany, I think basically 100% of the customers pay either with PayPal or with Klarna, but cash on delivery is the most popular payment method in the CEE markets. And that is something I can tell you is super difficult to make sure that the money also ends up in your pocket then when it is collected from the last mile carriers. 24 official languages are spoken in the European Union, and not only the product data, but also all content on social media, all online marketing ads need to be in the local language. And mentioned already, the currencies that we do have are quite diverse also in the European Union. And then only at the very last point, looking at also different customer aesthetics and preferences that they have. So popular brands and top selling brands are usually very different depending on the country. So that is the last thing to look into. And here, also, firstly, we offer something for our customers, basically unifying all of the product data that we get from the customer, like bringing it to the local language, but also making sure that we implemented the specific payment methods that are popular in the country. We make sure that the customer service is in the local language. We make sure that we address the customer for social media and for online marketing in their local language so that we are not losing conversion and customers by them just not understanding that they are supposed to buy on About You. And then on the other hand, we also have a little bit of a broader scope here. So we have insights on all of the data, also from our belonging to the Zalando Group here, how to steer those markets the best. We are by now, after 12 years in business, very, very advanced in what campaigns are important for what market, because this is also big differences between campaign calendar in Germany and a campaign calendar in Romania here. So how to activate those customers and make them shoppers is also very country specific. And then also, obviously, we have a personalized storefront. So basically, every time you log in About You, you will be addressed in your local language that you set as a preference here. And now with this, basically opening up the problem, I'm handing over to Nisha, who is going to give some insights in how to onboard to the About You marketplace.
Yes. So now that we already have looked at the challenges, let's talk solutions. How can you leverage About You to own your brand strategy through our marketplace model? So we do offer two distinct fulfillment setups depending on your business needs. We do have the fulfillment by merchant, and in this model, the partner owns and sells the goods, controlling price sovereignty while managing fulfillment directly or via ZEOS, the Zalando fulfillment option. And we do also have the fulfillment by About You, where you still own the goods and retain price sovereignty, but About You manages the end-to-end fulfillment. Choosing the right fulfillment model comes down to how you want to manage your inventory and scaling. And with fulfillment by About You, your inventory sits in our EU warehouses with top-tier carrier rates and also enhanced store visibility. Alternatively, if you already have a strong logistics setup, fulfillment by merchant lets you plug into new international markets via one integration, leverage ZEOS-enabled operations, and also maintain full independence over your country strategy. So getting started shouldn't feel like navigating a maze. If you are a fashion brand with an EU legal entity and an EU warehouse, our onboarding process is built for speed. So there are no minimum product counts to get started with the fulfillment by merchant model, and there are zero listing fees or platform costs until you make your very first sale. So integration takes around 4 weeks through your preferred method, and you maintain complete control over your product catalog, offboarding or onboarding items whenever it suits your seasonal inventory. So let's have a look into the merchant fulfillment model where you are doing your own logistics. So when fulfilling orders yourself, you do retain total control over your expansion. Fulfilling through your own warehouse or ZEOS does give you immediate access to 16 live markets with more expanding, as Katherine already mentioned. And to ensure customer satisfaction stays high across all regions, we do operate under clear SLA guardrails. So delivery via approved carriers within 72 to 96 hours. Also a stickable return label supporting a 30-day return window. And on the financial side, reporting is seamless, whether you utilize the EU one-stop shop scheme or local VAT IDs. With that being said, let's have a look into the fulfillment by About You deep dive. So if scaling your own logistics sounds overwhelming, our end-to-end service allows you to grow effortlessly. So About You does operate a full or a multi-warehouse network across Germany, Poland, and Slovakia, along with a specialized return center in the Czech Republic. So this setup connects you directly to 14 active markets. And we do offer benchmark fulfillment rates, though keep in mind you will need VAT registrations across all our warehousing countries. So how do you manage all of this day to day? Katherine already mentioned our seller center. The seller center is one platform where everything is combined, and we do have different integration options. So you can integrate via integration, like via integrator, or use an API application. You can also do it via Excel or also manually. All in all, expanding across Europe doesn't have to be complex when you do have the right marketplace partner. So with tailored fulfillment models, simplified technology connections, and also access to millions of active shoppers, everything is in place. So I would say let's start our success story together. Also, you do have our contact details, so we are happy about hearing from you very soon, hopefully. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the presentation. Now we have some questions, and I would like to start with the pre-submitted questions, if that's okay. So the first one is, do we need to, which something that you already probably covered, but it would be a nice recap. Do we need to establish a company in Germany in order to sell on About You under our own brand?
You want to take it? Yeah, very good. So we are sitting in the same room. This is why we need to manage who is speaking in the microphone. Apologies for that. So very good question. Actually, it is not mandatory to have a company in Germany established, but within the European Union. So every country belonging to the European Union is sufficient. And what we definitely learned from partners is that Germany is the hardest one to establish a company in, but there are some where the entry barriers are a little lower. So you can choose whatever European Union country is the easiest and most suitable for you. But yes, unfortunately, onboarding with a Turkish entity is not possible.
Thank you. The other one is how can we work with you from Turkey? Does the platform carry collagen and protein-based food products, and how is shipping handled?
Sorry, can you repeat the question again?
Sure. How we can work with you from Turkey? Does the platform carry collagen and protein-based food products, and how is shipping handled?
Okay, that is three very good questions in one. As mentioned, collaboration with Turkish partners is something that we are actively looking for. However, a company established within the European Union is a mandatory requirement. Speaking with a lot of Turkish companies, usually they have some because we are not the only marketplace having this requirement here. Shipping either works as Nisha explained from your own warehouse, that in this case also needs to be located within the European Union. Again, whatever country suits you, or you use our own fulfillment, meaning basically you ship a bulk fulfillment to one of our warehouses, the one that is the easiest and most sufficient for you, and then we take care of the fulfillment. And as we are a fashion online shop exclusively designed to sell products that are not expiring, we unfortunately cannot sell products that are coming from the nutrition assortment. However, I agree the fit to our customer base would be quite given, but yes, only products that don't have any allergens and don't have an expiry date are possible.
Thank you so much. And this is a question from a company who has passed the pre-approval process. And they're asking, after working with About You for a season, is it possible to work for them to sell on Zalando as well? Does About You provide any assistance to companies in this regard?
So usually we want obviously the sellers to stay exclusive for us, but yeah, you're right. We have a very good connection to our colleagues from Zalando. So there are several ways we can support you. So first of all, we are very happy to make an intro to you to the relevant person. And also if you decided to use FBay, so the fulfillment model where the goods are stored within our warehouse, also it is possible to target Zalando customers, especially as we will mid of next year move to one fulfillment model. So by now our logistics are still independent from each other, but from July next year onwards we will share the same warehouses, and then obviously it makes very much sense to deliver to both customers. And also I'm very happy that you're already live on About You.
Thank you. And the last pre-submitted question is, as European marketplace regulations continue to evolve, do you see a growing need for trusted local legal and compliance partners who can help Turkish brands meet marketplace requirements and scale across European markets?
I would not say that, because we have a compliance department in-house. So whenever regulations are changing, we very much make sure that we inform the partners firstly beforehand how the regulations are changing and how we are already implementing the change in the regulation in our live business. But if you are asking because you are a service provider in compliance, offering that to partners, we would obviously be very interested in speaking with you and see how we can align forces.
Thank you. Now we're going with the questions in the chat. So the first one is, are you planning to launch or expand a home and living category?
Oh, very good one. Yes, actually, that was recently decided that we are also going to start in the home and living segment. Makes absolute sense because there's a lot of similarities in the shopping behavior, and also home and living is a little bit the new cupboard of especially the millennials, I'd say. So whenever you have every it item in your fashion assortment, then you go to the home and living sections. So we will do that most likely starting in the beginning of next year. But we would have to do a three-wave ramp up. So basically the first assortment that we can onboard will be something that is from a operations perspective very close to textiles. That would be bed sheets, linens, towels, and all of that. And then the next wave will be potentially breakable items like tableware, glasses, vases, more decoration. And then the last wave, that is not decided when this is going to happen. It is basically everything with a plug, so where we need to also have some safety regulations, and then potentially also smaller furniture, but that is further down the line.
Thank you. And the other question is, thank you for the informative presentation. I have a question about customized products. Since we prepare some of our products after receiving an order, how does About You handle customized items such as jewelry in terms of processing times, delivery expectations, and customs procedures for international sellers based outside of the EU?
Yeah, that is a very good question, especially regarding the SLAs that we mentioned. Unfortunately, this assortment is for us a little bit out of scope, given the fact that we will not be able to deliver to our customers within our SLAs here. And then also, usually with customized assortment, basically every item looks a little bit different, which is the very charming part about that. But from a product image perspective, we would need every item to match the product image that was displayed in the shop 100%.
Thank you. And the last one is, so what is the link to start the process application? We are interested in AY fulfillment. Is there a checklist roadmap we can follow?
Yes, absolutely. So obviously we have an onboarding checklist. The first thing, let me go over that very, very briefly, and then I think it makes sense that you reach out to us and then we schedule a call to discuss that in detail. But the first thing would be basically applying for our seller center and submitting your entity information, where you're located, what is your VAT ID, all of the boring stuff. And then we check that and approve your application. And then two things happen in parallel. Basically, you can start onboarding your products, meaning you can share the product data of the products that you want to sell with us, what kind of style it is, what is the color, how much should it cost, which sizes do I have available. In the meantime, we need to do something that is called KYC, Know Your Customer Check, a regulation from the European Union, to make sure that we are compliant with European bank compliance. Here's something that we definitely want to be. And then the very last step would be, once you submitted the products and we have them ready to go live, that you deliver to our warehouse, we inbound the products, and then they are automatically ready to sell.
Great. And then there's another question popped up, so I would like to ask them too. When we previously met with About You, we were informed that direct shipping from our warehouse in Turkey to customers was not accepted. We actually have a company in Czech Republic, while our production and warehouse are located in Turkey. We ship directly from Turkey to customers through our Czech company using IOSS, with all duties and costs covered by us and delivery within 48 hours. Would this shipping model still not be accepted by About You?
I think that is something where we need to have a close look into when the transfer of ownership is basically happening. So one risk that can in general be is that then our end customer needs to pay for the import. And this is obviously something that we want to avoid by all means. But I am also aware of models, or let's say side hacks where this would absolutely work. So I would suggest having a close look into the details here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for answering all the questions and for this informative presentation and joining us today. I think, well, actually, we have another one.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a tool that helps us calculate costs associated to selling the product for us to calculate the appropriate sale price when using AY fulfillment? A calculator that deducts the commission, etc.
Yeah, we are working actually on a tool that is helping the partners to have an idea about their P&L selling on the marketplace. That is still work in progress, but once until this is ready, we can also have a closer look in this together, because we have a lot of data of partners present that we can utilize. So for instance, what is the average time an item sits in the warehouse? Obviously, we know the return ratios by market, so that should allow us having a really close idea of the P&L.
Thank you. I'm gonna wait for a couple of seconds just in case we have another question. But other than that, thank you everyone for joining us today. I think
Yeah,
that
thank
was
you so much also from our end. We really enjoyed doing the presentation. We're very much looking forward to see, hopefully, a lot of you on the IGEXX. We will have a booth or a little table, so feel free to stop by. Also, if you see us walking around and you recognize us from that webinar, please approach us. We're very much looking forward to chat with all of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And hopefully we will see and every participant here at IGEXX in September. So thank you, everyone, and have a nice rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.